So, all right, everybody. So I decided to go ahead and just do a little video series on just sharing with you my inviting process. Most of you by now, if you haven't already, this is going to look very similar to the inviting process to who is it, Jackie North, her basically Power Hour video that was plugged into the Dare to Dream University training. So I had just realized that, you know what, maybe it's maybe the reason why it doesn't sink in so much is maybe we're either in our heads too much, or maybe it's that we don't necessarily connect with someone that we're watching it from, and so there can sometimes maybe there's a disconnect. So I just figured this wouldn't hurt to go through. And so as I go through, where in the world is my original? Sorry, bear with me, guys. I just want to have my papers, my shit out already. There you go. That's odd. Sorry, guys. Let me just a second. Pulled out the wrong sheet. That's really weird. So do you see, like, this win the week, but it's just disappeared. Oh, it's right behind the computer. All right, there we go. Back in action. All right, so basically, I'm just going to go straight to it. Like I said, I had told Molly earlier, feel free to ask any questions. If anybody ends up popping on, I'll reiterate this, but you can even actually speak up if you need to say pause, let me ask you something if you don't get it, if I don't end up catching, especially if I don't catch the chat in time. So just wanted to put that out there. So basically, just to give you a recap, because I'm going to actually share my screen and show you. Before I do so, you'll see in the files document in Daring Faith, this is actually the hard copy sheet that I use, the Win the Week tracker. I don't know how clear that is to you, but that's basically what I use. I'm very much a checkoff person. So it helps me to just check off things along the way. There's a little bit of stuff that I've changed up to edit for myself that just helps. I can even take a picture of this and share it with you guys in the group since it's not going to be as clear to show you here. But I do use that Win the Week coach checklist every day. And what that's done is helped me to progressively see day to day, week to week. If you listened to the National Wake Up Call last week, I haven't listened to this week's yet, but last week she even talked about how the importance of when we actually do the things that we're supposed to do on a daily basis rather than try to do lump sums here and there. How much you notice over time those consistencies of the compound effect there will help. I have noticed so much that the more and more I use this, the more focused and driven and consistent I become, because I'm more aware of what I'm doing and what I'm not doing to help me in my week. So that is a huge aspect of what I do. And then just because of the way that I am with writing stuff down on paper, I literally just take computer paper. And this is my invite. Basically, I just write out exactly what I'm looking to do every day. So I'm just going to read it aloud because I don't think it's very clear. But basically, I just write out invite. And then my process, just like the Power of 3 that we see from the training, friend request, Teamsy follow-up. I'll show you that in a second. And this is today's. Teamsy follow-up, transformation, pregnancy post-engagement. Number 4, invite to those who watch my stories today. Number 5, I write down to engage with the challenge group, Dare to Dream. And then number 6 is always doing something within Daring Faith, today being the live invite how-to. So, and then I always obviously post once a day and then do stories throughout the day. So just wanted to kind of give you that. So sometimes where my number 3 is transformation prego post engagement. I posted that 2 days ago and I actually intentionally put it off an extra day. I usually do it the very next day. So I posted that on Monday. Usually the post that I create is actually whatever I did yesterday would have been today's follow-up and engagement. So, and I'll explain that as I continue to show you whenever I share my screen. So for example, what was it? Brittany's transformation. When I shared that the very next day, I went through all of those and actually invited people to the coaching opportunity. Hence, notice I said coaching opportunity, not just the challenge group opportunity. And when we go and start next Monday with Get Over Your Damn Self, you will understand exactly why. Always leading with coaching, and that's very much what I did not do in the past, and thus my lack of success was very prevalent. So changing that mindset and shifting to talking about coaching first, leading with that, has been a tremendous difference in my confidence level in the business, and just really completely transformative overall. So any questions, anything before I move on to the next step? I'm going to share my screen here. Share. Okay. Struggle with figuring out how to decide whether to invite challenge groups or coaching opportunity. Yes. And the more, this is going to be a huge, huge thing that I want to share. And that's a great thing, because that's exactly where I used to be too. And a lot of us struggle with that, Molly. So thanks for sharing that. Basically what it boils down to is we are nervous on how to figure out how to share with that when we're not sharing it ourselves, or like, invite to the coaching opportunity if we're not talking about coaching it like publicly. So, you may, I don't know if you've noticed Molly, because I know Molly, for those of you who don't know Molly, she's been around for a couple of years. And so you may have seen my journey a little bit more than some of those here in this team now. But with that said, I used to always lead with the challenge group. I used to always only talk about fitness in the challenge group and Shakeology. Thus, when it came to the overcoming objections, it was always really challenging. Not that it's not going to always be, but when you lead with coaching, when you lead with the pain points of what coaching enables us to do, it actually changes the ball game. The time and money objections are still there. They're just different. And that's kind of hard to explain, but my confidence in what I'm doing and presenting and bringing to the table for other people has actually changed very positively, because every post that I share publicly, it's when it's either a coaching opportunity, or it's my breadcrumb of life outside of just talking Beachbody. So for example, today I shared a picture of my sister and I and how we got to have lunch and walk around the RV park today. Well, by doing that, I also planted the seed of what freedom was doing for that. And so I didn't even bring up coaching, but I still talked about how my life has that sense of freedom in it. And so it's still that seed of like excitement to what this opportunity can do. So that when I do the opportunity post, which my coaching opportunity post from that Win the Week that I had mentioned earlier, it actually has on here to do 4 coaching breadcrumbs a week and 2 call to actions of coaching. It also talks about challenge group stuff too. So for that for me, it's like, okay, well, if I'm going to post 4 times a day, if you don't know by now, then it's one of those things where you don't want to do it every day, right? We want to always make sure. Hey, Sam, if you could just make sure to mute yourself. That basically we don't want to post every day about coaching. We want to be sharing our life too. So when I see from that Win the Week checklist that it's coaching breadcrumbs and then coaching call to action that many times, I know that, okay, I have to be very intentional with making sure that I am bringing up coaching, not every day, but maybe every other day. And so that's kind of what I've been doing. And it's really, really been helping. But I do it in a way where it's not just business talk. It's sharing my life and sharing what coaching's doing for my life. So it's not advertising or salesy. It's just speaking truth about the pain points that Beachbody is helping to help me overcome to get to greatness. So I hope that helps, Molly. But I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next step and just share with you. Basically, let's see here. And from here on out, you may just need to unmute yourself to talk with me if you have a question, because I don't think I'm going to be able to see it very well with the share screen, just FYI. So, all right, so this is my TeamZoo. So this is a program that I use for my tracking system. Yes, it is $30 a month. You can use Asana, you can use Excel, you can use Streak. Again, in the files of Daring Faith, I've got all different styles and types of tracking systems that you can use for whatever method works best for you. I just have found that this is the best that works for me. I get way more done than I ever would with anything else. So to me, this is what it was worth. It's $30 a month. Your first month you get completely free. It's a free trial for 30 days. And you don't even have to put your credit card information in. So that's what kind of sold me from the beginning. And I just absolutely love it. I've never been able to stay on track. And what I love so much about this program, just that I want to go over real quickly, is how incredible it is at connecting with people and actually building relationships. So for example, there was somebody that I had connected with that was going through law school, and I didn't know that she would ever be involved, interested in Beachbody. But what was so cool is I had found out that she was about to take her bar exam, and she gave me the date. I was able to plug into this program what date she was going to be taking it, so I could then reach back out to her and say real quick, like, good luck to you, best wishes, can't wait to hear how it goes. I would never be able to do that with the amount of people, as you can see here are my follow-ups that I still have to do tonight. But even with all that said, if you see these numbers of prospects and customers and coaches, all those invites today are 100% coach invites. I've added 25 people, so that's what I'm about to jump right into. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. It is absolutely does not have to be the end all be all tracking system for you. If you do not want to pay the money, or if it doesn't work for you, so be it. To each their own. That's just what I use. So I just wanted to let you know, you will see this in this obviously, but it doesn't have to be the one thing that you use. So basically I use a Pomodoro timer. If you're unfamiliar with that, you can Google it, or you can go to your app store. I think I actually shared the Pomodoro link. So if you actually type in Pomodoro into the search in Daring Faith, the post should pop up. I shared like the iTunes link for the app that I use, which was free. Basically what it does is help me. If you're the kind of person that has to do your business in pockets of like 10 minutes, whatever, throughout the day, this may not be the best thing for you. Or you could look at it as, okay, well, if I have 10-minute pockets throughout my day, can I set a 10-minute timer so I stay focused, so that outside texting or email or any other whatever comes in my way, that I can just stay tunnel vision focused. But the idea behind it is with the Pomodoro timer, it helps to keep you focused, spending your time wisely, effectively, and efficiently. And so with this Pomodoro timer, I spend 2 hours a day. And I do 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. So what that means is 25 minutes, I have a timer that's going. I'll actually show it to you really fast. Okay, let me skip so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so you should be able to see this okay. We'll see. So you see that, and then it has like the little play button. Well, as soon as I hit play, it'll count down the 25 minutes, and then it dings me at 25 minutes to give me a 5-minute break. So I'm on my computer, very focused, very intentional with my invite process for 25 minutes. Once that timer goes off for 5 minutes, I walk away, stand up, stretch, get some water, go to the bathroom, whatever I got to do. But for 25 minutes, I am 100% focused. And for 5 minutes, my brain is getting a break. I do that 4 times through, and then a half an hour break. So again, that doesn't have to be for everybody, but that's how it works best for me and how I knock out my stuff. You could even do that for an hour, for a power hour rather than 2 hours, whatever works best for you. But I just wanted to let you know that's exactly what I do to make the most of my time. And it keeps me from wasting time on conversation that I know it's like, okay, I've got to move on to the next conversation. I've got to make sure I get through these invites. And relationships are vital, and it's super vital for this business, but it's also a numbers game. And so you have to be able to really remove emotion a lot of times out of all of this and get to work. So now I'm going to move on. Anybody have any questions at this point? You're welcome to unmute yourself if you do. We good to go? Okay. All right. So honestly, guys, it's unbelievably simple, and we just tend to overcomplicate it because we get into our head. I'm not going to talk about when it comes to you have to be putting out the coaching opportunity. You have to be talking about coaching. That's for something separate. I just want to go straight through this invite process. I go straight to my friend requests, see all, and I basically just go through here. My niche is very particular. It's either I'm looking for young moms with kids, obviously, I'm also looking for young marriages, because I'm looking for someone who may have been like me, just a few steps back, who might be looking to get pregnant and want to be healthy going into their pregnancy. But that's what my intention is looking for like young families. Every now and again, I'll come off of that, just depending on who the person is. But 97% of the time, it's 100% about that. So I literally will just like, I see here, this person looks like, okay, she's clearly young with a kid, right? The only reason I did not friend this person is because I don't have any mutual friends. So a lot of times that's also what I'm looking for, is mutual friends, because it just can help. That, and sometimes Facebook will red flag if you keep friending people that you're not mutual friends with, and I don't want to get blocked from Facebook. But just for hypothetical purposes, I would click add friend. I'm not even going to go to her profile, and what I would do is I would just literally highlight, copy, go back to my Teamsy, paste. And why I paste here is because as I've built, I want to make sure that I don't friend somebody that's already denied my friend request. I don't want to be that person. So when I do that and they don't pop up, then I can see that they've never been in here. So just for hypothetical purposes, I'll just show you here. Bam, add contact. And then I always do let me move this guy. Okay. Y'all are definitely going to have to unmute yourself if you have a question, because I won't be able to see anything else. I always do a follow-up in 2 days. So that way I can go back to them real quick to see, did they accept my friend request? And then at that point, I'll spend 30 seconds or less going through their profile to see, do they have something I can engage with them on? So, because I know that Sam had asked a question about how do you open up conversation with new people, something like that. Can you remind me of exactly what your question was, so I make sure I answer that? Again, let me make sure I delete this person out, so that I don't think I'm supposed to be following up there. So my goal is 25 people a day to friend request. Go ahead, Sam.
Okay. Yeah, my question was just like, for the cold market, like, you pretty much answered it, just going in and seeing if there's something that you can connect with them on to, but if there's not anything that really stands out to you, like, how do you go about that?
Then I move on. I don't even waste time. And because there's been so many different people that, like, if I friend request them, they accept it, and then I end up going through their profile, and like, just for example, if I see that they're kind of negative, or it's just a bunch of randomness, then like I might bump for a week in my Teamsy to see, like, okay, I'll give it a week and I'll go back through and just see real quick. Maybe it was just a random whatever. Otherwise, at that point, I will just like default them and I won't follow up with them, and I will just allow them to maybe they'll like a post of mine someday, and then I'll go back and follow up on that note. But outside of that, like, I'm doing a much better job. This has definitely been a learn as I go kind of mentality, but again, kind of taking out the emotion out of it and just not allowing myself to spend more than like 10, 15, 30 seconds at most going through their page. And if it kind of goes back to the same thing that she says in the book, where if you're like, we've all heard it, if you find yourself trying to convince somebody, then you got to stop. And so it's the same kind of mentality going into their profile. If I'm like trying to convince myself that this person might be somebody to continue, to start engagement with, then I'm like, okay, this is clearly not working. But other than that, does that help?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, like, if it's just like, what are some of the things that you find, obviously, if they have kids, or if they have like the brand new wedding pictures, that kind of stuff, like, how do you just like, I don't know, what do you just like
age, basically?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect question. So let's see, I'm hoping I intentionally left my follow-ups so that hopefully I could go through this and I doesn't take up too much time, but let's see here. Okay. Let's see. Let me see if I can like find somebody that I know I could probably work well with. I have no idea who this is. Let's see. So I'll click on their thing. Okay, so like I literally might just be like, oh. That's it. You can see that, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So obviously I'm looking a little bit more for like something that might be more geared to like motivation, family, whatever, but it's literally just engaging with them and their life. That is the whole point in all of that. And so what I end up doing is now I'm going to go to connect. I hit other for this because there's nothing else. I have an abbreviation, but commented on post is what that means. I will set a follow-up in 2 days. I will set a follow-up in 4 days, just depending on the person. Sometimes like if I see like, oh, they've actually got a lot, they might post more often than other people. I'll say follow up in 2 days because they might be like a stay-at-home mom that's constantly posting stuff about their kid. And I want to constantly engage with their kid posts and stuff like that. If I see that they're hardly posting, then I'll bump it to 4 or maybe a week out and that kind of thing. But what this is doing is helping them see that I'm not just interested in them being part of my life. I'm interested in being part of theirs as well. So that basically what happens is I'll just go ahead and do this and log. So now in 2 days, she'll show back up on my thing and I can go back real fast just to see, is there anything here? And that's, I like would have probably ended up commenting on this over this. Just because of obvious, for the obvious reasons. So does that kind of help to answer that part of everything?
Yeah, I was thinking that like you meant more like private messaging and talking like then. So
yep. So that's the next step. So then what happens is, say I commented on that. On my next step might be, okay, for example, like I know for sure she's a follow-up of a coach invite from 2 days ago. And I will show you exactly why. So basically, I'll click here and go to her Facebook message. And I know for a fact she never responded back yet. So she had liked Brittany's post that I had shared about recognizing Brittany's transformation. This was my script that I sent to everybody that liked Brittany's post. Sometimes it might be more individualized and personalized, just a bit depending on the person and how much connection I've had with them. But it was hey, Amanda, thank you so much for helping me recognize and congratulate my friend Brittany. Between Brittany, the rest of my team, and my personal pregnancy journey, this entire experience has my head spinning with excitement. This journey has been a blessing. I love sharing it with you. My team's growing, looking for Christian moms that want to make an impact with their lives physically while helping others, earning extra income, working very part-time hours from home. I don't know if you know anything about Beachbody. I think you would be a really great coach. I said I think you can be a really great coach because I've had previous conversation with her in the past of like just other randomness. And so it's not like I'm just talking to a stranger. If it's somebody I've never had a conversation with and I can see that there's some similarities on their page, and I may have commented on a post or two, then I might take this, I think, to make a really great coach and actually say like, I don't know if you know anything about Beachbody, but I didn't want to assume, and then continue to ask, would that be something I could share some more information with you on? I got this script actually from one of Melanie Metro's videos when she talked a little bit about her streak. I think it was when she was talking about her streak thing. I can't remember exactly what video it was, but that's where I got that from. And so I'm like, okay, well, she's number one in the company. I'm going to freaking use it. So I just sculpted it to my own, but that's what I use. And so now at this point, I didn't saying, and that's it. And I think the biggest part about this is, to be completely honest, I have shared so much about my coaching journey now that I don't feel like I'm coming off like, oh gosh, they're not going to have any idea what the heck I'm talking about, or what. And then between that and getting over myself and realizing like, it's not about me. It doesn't matter if they don't like this, then that's okay. And there's no strings attached. And that's kind of been a little bit more on my, like, has what's helped me. But I'm trying to find somebody that I could actually, that kind of skipped a step as far as like, actually, let me go back to her and maybe it'll make sense. Okay. So this is where I go. This is like an individual person, their activity feed. So this is somebody I've conversated with back and forth over, certain periods of time, just over other things. And truthfully, this is way before I finally woke up and said, oh, dang it, I need to talk about coaching. I need to stop like leading with all this free group stuff, all this other stuff. Like, this is wasting my time. I'm not connecting with that many people that well. So as you can see, all of this, and finally ITC is invited to coaching. And so now I'm there, and I'm winning at life with that. So that's kind of helped me. Trying to think of, does that help to make sense, Molly or Sam?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Just finding, like, that was my issue with, the cold market, was like, how do I talk to these people or connect with them without, it being all Beachbody all the time kind of thing.
Yeah. And that's another reason why, that's why I called you out earlier, Sam, was because I was like, when's the last time you shared your story? When's the last time you shared your story? That's all I want to hear is, when's the last time you shared your story? Because the more we do that, without it just being like, if we only solely talk about challenge group this and product that, then you're going to constantly get to the point where you're just beating your head against a brick wall. And so the moment you allow yourself to just literally get over yourself, it's so funny how the title of that book really does speak volume to everything about this, but it's just when you get over yourself and realize that this opportunity, you have to have that mindset shift of what coaching actually does, and to lead with that, how much it changes the ball game, because you don't feel awkward instantly messaging somebody about the coaching opportunity. That's actually what I'll do, is I'm trying to think of somebody that I've sent that actually did say yes. So just real quick, I'll switch over to here. My notes on my computer is where I have all my copy pastes. And like I said, I will edit it and personalize it based on whatever it is. But these are where my notes are. And this is what makes my ability to invite so many people. I invited 34 people on Monday, 11 people on Tuesday, and 18 people today, which is insane. Never, ever been able to say that before. And it's been simple. It's not been complicated. It's just been me posting. And even when I shared Brittany's post, it obviously was still a physical transformation, but because I still addressed coaching, because obviously she's coaching and she's being a freaking rock star at sharing her, and sharing her journey and all that stuff, I was able to say, look at what coaching does for you. You know what I mean? And so whenever I actually share or reach out to people, I wanted to make sure I want to lead with coaching. I don't want this to be just about product. And so thus what that did, it brought a lot of engagement, a lot of opportunity for me to be able to share coaching. So I'm trying to think of somebody off the top of my head that I have taught to recently. Let me see if I can just scroll through. You know what? I can probably just do it here, but I'll see. Let's see. Sorry, bear with me just a second while I find somebody. These are all people from. Why can't I think, obviously, now that I'm, on spot, trying to think of somebody's name, it's, escaping me right now. Okay, maybe this one. Yeah, this one would be a good one. Okay, so after I invited her right here, she long response back about being curious. This is not the first time I have invited her, guys. This is a prime example of what happens when you get the heck out of your own way. Look how many times I messaged this girl on so many different bases, never got a response back, right? So I almost didn't invite her, and then was like, you know what, get over yourself, Ashley. And I invited her, and the next thing you know, I've got this long response of how she's been contemplating it, has been seeing my post, blah, blah, blah. This is my response to everybody. Every single person gets this response. About in the video that I sent. This comes from your Coach Online office. It's the I Am Team Beachbody. It's literally a 2-minute video. And what I love about that is 2 minutes for them to watch something that if they don't capture this and they don't see oh, this looks awesome, then I know for me, when I saw that, when I first got started, I was like, oh my gosh, this looks amazing. And so you can find this in your back office, because obviously this link is actually directly to my website. It'll end up plugging them into my website, so you want to find it on your own. in the marketing materials. But anyways, this is my message, and I just get straight to the point and say, at the end, always ending with a question. After watching the video, is this something you're interested to learn more about? I have not heard from her yet, and that's okay. At the end of the day, it's one of those things where you just got to put yourself out there and keep following up and knowing that they're not responding because of you. They're not responding because whatever they're going through with in their life, whether it's busyness, getting in their head, whatever the case might be. So that's my next follow-up. After they respond to this, if they're interested, I'm getting on the phone with them in a heartbeat. I'm setting up a phone call. I ask for their phone number so that I can text them and figure out what time works best for them. And then once I get on the phone call, then I talk a little bit more and learn a little bit more about them so that I can find out like the pain points of what they're going through in their life and that kind of thing. So I'll pause there if you guys do y'all have any questions?
Nope, I think that makes sense.
Okay. And again, this is another great thing too, is with my Teamsy. So for example, I still have her plugged into my Teamsy to continue following up. I'm not just following up in Messenger. I'm following up on her page so that I'm looking to see, did she post something recently that I can engage with? Because again, I want to make sure she knows I'm interested in her and what's in it for her, and not just interested in it for myself. And when you're interested in someone else's life, it's going to help you to constantly stay planted in their minds and show that you care at the end of the day. Now, there's been people that I have friended many times that because I don't do much research when I go to friend, that I end up looking through their wall and I'm like, oh gosh, this definitely is not my kind of person. I will unfriend them and just unplug them out of Teamsy because they're just not somebody that I want to be connected with. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'm not sure how much that helps, but that definitely has helped me to just make sure that I'm not trying this is not about despotism. This is about finding your people that you will like love for life. Like you guys that are on this call, like it's fun when you work with people that you truly enjoy working with that get you. And that's what this is all about. And I think before I just lived too much in the mindset of like scarcity mentality of like trying to get anybody on board. And it just doesn't work that way. You're going to stress yourself out. And so I've had to stick, like, I don't friend any males unless I see that maybe I can connect with them because they look like their wife, like, and then something like I can connect with their wife. But 99.999% of the time, I'm only friending females at this point, just because that's going to be my market. It's just is what it is. And I connect with both men and women at the end of the day, but I know I'm going to be a lot more successful connecting with women, and especially young moms. So that's pretty much that. At the end of the day, it really just boils down to just continuing to put your coaching story out there all the time like clockwork. If you don't follow Ruth Schroner on Instagram or on Facebook for that matter, she does a phenomenal job. Like it blows my mind how much she constantly posts her pictures of what she was like before Beachbody and where she is now, and is always reminding people of her story. So really, you cannot do it enough. Just think about it, like how much you think you're overdoing it, and you think you might. It's like petty to be like, oh my gosh, I just shared this like 2 days ago. But that's the point, and why personal development also becomes such a vital tool to this, because you'll find something in your personal development that will help you to be able to actually share your story slightly differently, but with the same underlying message. Have you guys, I don't know how much you guys follow what I post, but do you see that in what I'm sharing? Does it make sense what I'm talking about?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. I'm actually going to, I think I should be able to stop sharing my screen. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say that makes sense. I was actually listening to something the other day about how, we think that we're posting a lot, and but when you actually look at it, like if you post 10 times, that one person that you really need to reach may only see one of those posts. Like they're possibly not going to see all 10 of those posts. So, if you post 10 and they see one, out of those 10, then you need to be posting, 10, 20, and 30 times, in the month or whatever. Not all the same content.
Absolutely. And honestly, this is what I really like about using my Instagram, and not to say that I'm not thriving with Instagram yet. Like I still post every day on Instagram. I do my hashtags, but my engagement is very low. But when I do end up connecting with people and finding people, I private message them and build conversation, but it's very, very minimal compared to my, close to 100, whatever, various conversations I have within Facebook. With that said, what I love about going through with Instagram is because Instagram is all about, obviously you see a collage. When you go to somebody's profile, you see collage. You will find yourself connecting more and more with people when you go to their profile and it looks like consistency. When it looks like a hot mess and it's all over the place, you lose yourself in following them. So you have to think about that same thing in yourself, even down to the filters that you're using for what you're putting together. So if you actually go to my Instagram right now, you can start to see, over the last couple of weeks, maybe a month, 5 weeks or whatever, that I've been posting. So I always use the same filter, and it's not a filter to try to make myself look perfect. There's something about the warm feature, the edit feature, that I love. It just brightens up the picture, so I use it all the time, and it works with every photo that I post. And so I use that. On top of that, a lot of what I share now has a consistency in the picture. It's me with fitness, me with hubby. Today was me and my sister, but it was outside. And so it's always got those same things. And you think oh, people need to see new. No, they don't need to see new. They need to see exactly what you're here doing this for. I think about it this way. If there's a motivational speaker that you follow, for example, Eric Thomas, E.T. the hip hop preacher. When I go to him, what do I want to see? I want to see a friggin' motivational photo or video, right? I don't want to see anything else. That's all I care about. So why do we feel like we have to constantly have such different content all the time? It's way too stressful. It's way too much. And the more you simplify and just constantly share your story, the more you're going to actually be able to attract and connect with people, because they're going to hear the same message. We get a bajillion billboards, commercials, advertisements, you name it, every single day. That when we share the same message every single day, that's when it starts clicking with other people, and they start to really feel that energy of what you're searching for and the vision that you have for your life. And the people that you're looking for are going to be attracted to that vision. Even people that don't have anything to do with with your own connectivity, they still connect with the energy that you're putting out there, just because that becomes a contagiousness. That I don't only connect with moms, but I do connect with a lot of men and women, just because I'm being more me and I'm being more authentic and I'm being more vulnerable and sharing what I'm looking for. And that attracts people no matter what. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. So, that's really what it is. It's, at the end of the day, it's just so easy for us to overcomplicate this entire process. I post one time a day on my social wall, and then I do stories throughout the day. And that's and I do my stories every day like clockwork, always have my workouts. And I used to think, I don't want to do the same, always share snippets of my workout every day. But I realized it's actually working. I'm actually having, so I don't know if you guys are using it enough to utilize it in this way, but basically, with the, we've got, just under 10 minutes left, by the way. So we may finish early, but I just want to let you guys know. When you post on your stories, whether it be Instagram or Facebook, super, super simple. And people, when they comment on it, it goes to your private message board or your direct message, depending on if you're Instagram or Facebook. Do you realize how much gold of a gold mine that is? You are starting private conversation with people and they're doing it for you. You don't even have to deal with it, right? It's genius. And so for example, every now and again, I'm trying to get better at doing polls. So the other night I posted do you like sunrises or sunsets better? And people just commented on it. And I'm like, yes. Because then you get to actually start engaging with those people. On top of that, you get to see who is looking at your stories, which is massive. Because then it kind of goes back to that same thing I was sharing earlier, where when I go into my tracking system and I'm pulling someone's name and I want to go to their Facebook page or Instagram page to look at and be more interested in them than interested in myself. I do that same thing with stories. Like I can click on someone instead of just immediately inviting them or talking to them about coaching. I go immediately to their page and start engaging with them as well. So does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So that's honestly like what's changed the ball game. Like I've never had such a successful outcome with really being able to talk more about coaching. It becomes so much more thrilling because while you guys, I know I don't have to say it, but like y'all obviously know how much I'm obsessed with health and fitness, and I love everything Beachbody stands for. Best programs, best products, best everything on the planet. We'll do it till the day I die. But at the end of the day, it's coaching. It's being able to give the opportunity to change someone's life. Time and financial freedom is what we are all like just dying for in this country, that we have the opportunity to give that. And the moment that we can get over ourselves and have that mental breakthrough to go, holy crap, this is where the gold mine really is. When you lead with that coaching, you end up getting customers that say like, okay, well, I don't think I'm really ready for coaching yet, but I'll try the product. And you give them something inspiring to work towards when it comes to coaching. So they're not going to always just immediately out the gate be ready to go to coach off the bat. But it does help you to lead with that. And also, rather than leading with like, oh, you get this amazing discount for 25% off. You guys, at the end of the day, no offense, but the 25% discount as a coach, especially if you're not military, it's not that massive of a discount. And it's not going to make or break somebody from joining this and sticking with it, which is more important, right? It's a whopping $20. And someone, if you don't address their pain point and the opportunity at hand and the community they get to be a part of with coaching, then that $20 is not a make or breaker for people, no matter how much they want to tell you all day long that they can't afford something. $20 is not going to make that big of a difference, but coaching will. So I just wanted to preface that with that, because like I used to lead with, oh, the discount's amazing. It is, it's great, but it's not like it's the end all be all. So don't lead with that. Lead with coaching and say that icing on the cake, you get discounts. And that's what I do. So lead with coaching, lead with amazing benefits of what Dare to Dream and what Daring Faith is doing in your life. And that's going to be, and sharing that. So I'll get off of my rambling soapbox. All right. So we've got about 5 minutes left. I'd like to hear a little bit more from you guys. Tell me what you're going through. And I guess before we go, what's one thing you're going to do in the next 24 hours to help your business grow?
Obviously, right now I'm talking to a lot of people, getting everything started for the challenge group for the ladies that I do have. But for whatever reason, it just kind of like everything has just kind of stalled. And I think listening now, maybe it's just that I'm almost like really just initially jumping in with just talking about Beachbody, and the opportunities, whether it's weight loss or coaching, whatever, instead of getting to know who that person is. I've tried to do that some, especially before I like have a conversation with them, but I'm just not right now, which are good. And or people that just don't answer the messages at all. So obviously I'll just continue to follow up with those, but yeah, that's where I'm at. I even actually opened it up to I don't know if you saw my post, but to men yesterday, just because I do connect really well with guys because I'm an athlete, and that's just I'm that very what's the word I'm looking for? Like I want to win all the time. That kind of person, and that almost is a guy's mentality to a point. And so I do connect with them, somewhat on that level. And so I just, some of them I know that I can connect with, and just have gone from there. I've got 2 that I've been talking to the last couple of days, trying to get them all the information that they need. And they're definitely, their pain points were visible. One of them was very visible in his post. So, and he has like a goal date and an amount of weight that he wants to lose and everything. So the focus is definitely, the fitness and the products part for him, for now. And then the other one is, I think he's also fitness, at this point, but as I'm talking to him, I will also, include obviously the coaching opportunity and everything.
Again, remember the community. They don't have to jump into coaching immediately. Just remember
Right.
the community and the value behind that. All right, perfect. All right, how about you? We've got 2.5 minutes left.
Mine probably won't take 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
So I think where I'm at right now is just making sure that I'm showing up consistently and doing what I need to do and getting this going. I know you and I chatted the other night, and so that was very, very helpful. And but I just need to jump in and do it. And so that's where I am. I printed out the win the week sheet, and so I'm going to start there and just go at it and just see what happens. I have found a couple of ways not to do it already. So yeah.
Good. Awesome. No, that's perfect. And I'm glad you pointed that out. And no, too, with that win the week track, because I know from our conversation, that perfectionist mentality, we might feel like, a couple days into using it, and then we don't maybe feel like we see enough check marks, like the check mark in our wants to have. That's okay. You should have seen like what my original checklist started off and where it's gotten. So it's just over time, just working on it, being aware of it, and not letting that fear get to us, but instead allowing it to go, I got to do better next week, and that's okay. So just wanted to point that out. But that's awesome that you've already noticed that.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. We're going to continue to do this. We're going to do weekly team calls as we go through the book club, where we've got about less than a minute left. So thank you, ladies, for jumping on. I'm excited for everybody. We're going to continue to make this more awesome. And so as each week continues, I'll figure out in the group where we'll be at. So y'all have an awesome night, and we will see you in the group.
Cool. Thanks, Ashley.
No problem.
Bye.